Hello everybody, this is Tony Tapia and my page is Tapia Ag. I'm here to teach you a little something about vine growing. For the ones that are just the first time, this is something that might help you out. For the people that have a lot of experience, hopefully you learn something new. Um, Here myself, I've been working on grapevines for about 18 years or so, and so I've been to a different lot of vineyards trying to fix people's issues they got, whether it's with mildew or just the growth itself with the vineyard when it comes to clusters, quality wood and things like that, how to prune, what to do and not what to do. And so I'm going to start giving you perfect examples of things that will help you on the long run. But you gotta follow these steps because it takes time. You gotta be really careful what to choose when you're doing this type of work. It doesn't happen right away. You have to have patience, time, and of course quality work, and quality work takes time. So let's get to it. I'm gonna show you this vineyard I've been working on, raising up the wires a little bit more higher, and how to actually tie down your cordons to a firmly position. That way you don't have troubles when it comes to doing the shoot thinning or even the leaf pulling. And then when it comes to do the harvest, you can be able to do it more efficient, more faster, and get the job done quickly, and get out of that hot weather or that cold weather. There's a lot of challenges, but like I said, if you put in your mind and you set yourself to the goal, you'll be able to do it and you will prosper. So let's get to it. I'm gonna switch the video real quick so you can look. Alright, so here's some of these new cordons that I've been putting on the wire. As you can see, it's just brand new arms, two of them. This is the main body of the vine, and people will ask me, why is it going one way like this to the side and it goes up. The reason is why, because at the beginning of time with whoever had it going on here was letting the vine grow only to a certain position, and they would tie it right away on this wire, which is almost close to the dripper line. So what happened is you would get something like this. See, on the bottom, this is not good because you're too close to the ground. And when you're too close to the ground, the moist will hit the leaves once it's the growth coming up, and you'll get all this mildew and all this fungus. And then when you come in with your sprayer, the sprayer won't even be able to penetrate because then you have all this grass growing. That's something you have to be very conscious about. Don't let your grass overgrow your vines, because when you do that, all that moist and plague will get on your vineyard, on every single cluster and things like that. So you have to be very careful. Now what we did last year, we had to be very careful and selective of wood that we wanted to keep in order to keep pushing more grapes. We didn't want to just clean out everything and not get any crop out of this year. So what we did is that we had to prune last year in order to get some good benefits, and that way you'll be able to get some good fruit, and then train some new cordons like this one right here. That way we can lift it up and put it actually on top on this wire. Normally, to me, in my opinion, and all these years of work, I would recommend you to keep your wire to maybe about your size of your belly button, you know what I mean, by your waistline, because that's the best way. That way you can be able to come in here and prune quick, boom boom. When you come and harvest, the fruits can hang about right here, and you don't want to be pruning down here or harvesting down here, because the time of harvest is really hard. You have to almost drag your whole body on the ground all the way down to the end of the road, and you have to be more efficient. You got to be be able to work with your vine. The vines will let you know what they need, but you have to know when is the right time to do certain type of jobs. So what I'm doing right now, basically, I will wish this arm right here could have been up here on the wire, but because of the situation, you cannot really put this arm on top because it's not high enough, and then if you even bend it, you'll end up breaking the actual main arm. So that's why I train new ones. We have to train new ones in order to keep it on the wire. And so this is what I'm ending up doing, like this. Make sure you tie them up really sturdy to the main stake and onto the wire. Sometimes you have to wrap these cordons on the wire in order to get it sturdy. But once the arm itself it starts turning into this type of wood right here, maturing like this, then you can unwrap it off the wire and then you can retie it again. That way when it gets bigger at the time, you don't need that way the wire doesn't chew inside the arm, because this is one of the main problems when you twist it around the wire. The arm gets bigger and bigger in times, and then it goes inside with the wire, and then the wire gets rusted because the accelerated rust with the moist, and that's how you start getting eutypa and diseases like that. So you have to be conscious about it too when you come to things like this. So this a few of these, well, a couple of these rows I've been doing. Right now I'm just tying. I'm not cleaning much because it's not pruning season. I'm just basically getting ready, everything tied down and ready, so that way when I come doing the pruning, I just worry about pruning and cleaning the vine, and everything's tied up, and I have to come back and do the tying again after the pruning. There's many ways to grow vines. You can do the forearms or even taller, but I just like to do the two, and that's it, because sometimes depending on the situation of your vineyard, your vines are not they're not too strong enough to handle 4 arms, so you're pushing them to the limit, and sometimes they don't give you that quality grape that you're looking for. And what we're really working on is quality wood, quality fruit. Then once you get all that quality on that certain vine, then you can start looking into getting quantity, because sometimes you have to reduce that quantity into a small portion. But once you start working with it, you'll be able to figure out how to, add more arms to the vine, depending on how big, how long. Another recommendation, when you do these new arms, make sure that you don't leave your arms too long. Always leave about 4 to 3 buttons. And again, depending on how thick is the wood, because a lot of people will start the cordon from the bottom and they won't even top it. They'll just throw it onto the wire and then throw it all the way far as it can, and they'll get fruit, but sometimes you get the fruit on the end of the line and you won't get fruit on the beginning over here. So you have to reduce it. You got to let the power concentrate in a certain spot. Once this top starts turning into bark like this, it's gonna let you know that it's mature enough to handle another piece of extension, whether it could be another 2 buttons or another 3 buttons, depending on the vine itself. So I'll give you an example here. This is the one that I'm doing right now. I cannot prune everything because it will take too much time, so I have to just tie up everything, leave it in writing position, and then once everything's done, when we come back, we're just gonna come and prune and clean everything out. Always remember, your body right here from the bottom down, you gotta clean everything. You cannot leave no other shoots coming out. Last year, we don't see it in this year, but last year there was a lot of roots coming out of the vine, a lot of suckers that didn't get taken on time. So you gotta be conscious that there's certain jobs that you gotta do in certain times of the season, because if you let the season come in and you're not done with that job, then you're gonna get overwhelmed with a lot of work, because then the grass comes out, you gotta be spraying, you gotta do shoot thinning, leaf pulling, and a lot of things like that. So you gotta be careful when you do your job. You gotta do it on time, and when you do a job, finish it. Don't start something you're not gonna finish, because then you'll have problems in the future with your growing. When you start doing this type of work, always choose quality wood. Always remember, the best wood, the best quality, comes out of the main mother, which is this one right here. This is a sucker. This is not gonna give you quality fruit. This only you leave it unless you don't have a good source of a quality wood, then you don't have no choice. Then you have to leave one of these right here. But the case right here is that we do got good quality wood. So I'm gonna tie this one down. I'm gonna show you how to you know, put it in position. It does look kind of funky right now, but like I said, I'm fixing this vineyard. I'm helping this person out. He had a lot of trouble, you know, getting his vineyard back in shape. A lot of people came, did a lot of different work, and it was just not working out. So I came in, give them my ideas, and basically I told them, you gotta raise up your wire a little higher, you know, put them on top, and it's gonna be better for you. And when you come with your tractor, you'll be able to spray everything evenly with no problem. And always, for me, when I go into a vineyard, I always look at where's the most problems with the mildew. You know, you always gotta control your mildew right away. Once you got that under control, then you start, you know, knowing which vines need the most work. You gotta, you know, be careful what you do. You don't want to overspray too, you know. The water is very important. You have to check your soils. Some soils retain a lot of water, some don't, depending on where you live. You know, some people live on higher mountains or elevations. So there's places where there's less dirt and there's more rocks. So what happens with there's more rock and less dirt, the sun penetrates the ground, and when you put a little bit of water, the water doesn't even reach the root system, because I guess the rock gets too hot, it evaporates the water. And other places, the dirt's so good that you only have to water maybe less than normal, because they'll retain too much water. So not enough water will harm your vines. Too much water will harm your vines. So you have to know your soil and all this type of things is very important. Obviously too, you gotta know what nutrients to put on. You don't want to overfeed it with one certain type of nutrients and things like that. So I'm gonna do this. Hopefully I can hopefully you guys can see. I'm gonna try to put this phone on the side because I got nobody to hold it for me, so just bear with me, and let me see if I can just put it right here. Okay, so we're gonna do this vine. I'm gonna start it. Always clean it, clean everything, the little whiskers, all these little stems. We got 3 candidates that are perfect. You just gotta choose the best ones that are gonna make that V shape nice. Now, for me right here, I'm just gonna cut this right about here. Don't cut them too low, because then you won't have enough to, you know, put it in and tie it down on the wire. You grab it. I'm gonna choose this too because it's high enough, it's perfect, and it's in the right position I really want it. Don't get scared of twisting the arms or the cordons. They won't break unless you really force it, but you know, you really have to, you know, force it in order to break. Just put it in there like this, simple. Sometimes if it doesn't look right, then you just have to twist the arm the other way like this. If it doesn't work for you, maybe you have to go do this like this. But for me, for right now, this is perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tie it up. I'm gonna twist. All right. So I like this one because this is the main body. This is what's gonna give me my quality fruit, and of course the growth is gonna be perfect. Now this one can work, so I'm gonna keep it just in case one of these break. Then I still have something to work with, you know. So sometimes you gotta be considerate. Don't clean everything right away. You know, keep a few options with you. That way you can be able to, you know, work with your plants. But for now, I'm just gonna keep it like this. Let me see if I can put it in position. It's hard to work with one hand and then holding the phone in the other one. So you have to just be patient with me real quick, all right? Let me see. Not good. Let me see. Let me try it one more time. Boom. I'm gonna, hopefully the phone doesn't fall again. So back at it again. We're gonna tie this to the wire. I'm just gonna twist it just to put it in position. That way it gives me time to tie it. Be careful because these things will get out of the wire and then it'll slap you right in the face early in the morning, and that's your wake up call right there. Now always remember, tie your cordons firmly on the wire. You don't have to give it a crazy knots in there. Just simple tying. There's many ways how to tie it. Just this is how I do it. I don't have to use a lot of tape, just a simple tie. A lot of people will throw a whole huge tape and leave it hanging. You don't want to do that because it's just material wasting. So you gotta just save your material. That way you have enough tape to go around on many vines. This type of work takes time. It's not easy, it's not just come in and let's do it. You have to take time. You have to use your head more than your body. That way you don't come out all tired and fatigued, and then you get mad at the vines because too much work. You have to be patient. It's not gonna happen overnight. When you want to get some quality work done, just take it easy, take time. I normally do about 3 ties. Just a simple tying for now. When I do start these new arms, I always leave about 3 to 4 buttons. This one right here used to be one of these. So in order to get this bar going on and get it more thicker, you have to top it. Normally you'll top it maybe 4 fingers off the wire, and then after that you have to have it tied to this metal it's called rebar. This rebar should have been a little bit higher, that way you can have it more okay, sorry for the technical failures here. It's Facebook, not me. Anyways, back at it again. So I was saying, these cordons, like this rebar should have been a little bit higher. That way you can have this tied up more straight. But since we don't have that luxury today, make sure you tie it up real good from the bottom. That way this thing doesn't move anymore. Now when you start a new arm, I always recommend you to only leave about 3 buttons. Now when I say 3 buttons, you don't count them right away. 1, 2, 3. You have to skip one, so it'll be 1, 2, and 3. These ones right here are good buttons too, but the reason I do this is because let's say anything happens, maybe this button doesn't make it, then you have the option of this one over here and you don't go too far. Now once you come to the shoe thinning, if these make it, then you go ahead and knock the other ones out. But you gotta remember one thing: if they're hand spaced, they're perfect. Always keep them a hand space. Some people like doing a hand and a thumb. I just do a hand and it's perfect, and it has its their own ways, when they grow, they're not like bashing into each other, because when you have too many buttons, you cannot leave them all. You have to drop some of these shoots down in order for the other ones to grow perfectly evenly. I'll show you an example in one of these vines that actually has already spurs. On this one, it's a hand space. You notice over here I'm starting a new cordon, but then I did 1, 2, and 3 buttons only, but they're hand space. Now on the pruning, on this type, when you do pruning, because they're only barely brand new cordons, they're not even mature enough. Last year they're not mature as well as we wanted to, because they're just barely starting and they were really weak because of the way they were taken care of. I would recommend you only do 1 button. Do 1 button at first right now because they're right here, but next year when they make it, you can go ahead and do 2 buttons, and that's when your spur's gonna get thicker. And then when you do 1 button, what happens is the main body will start maturing more. It will give more power. So now once this body turns into this right here, that's the whole main goal, to have these two to turn like this on the bottom. You get all that power on it. You do 1 button, and then by the following year you do 2 buttons. But then that's when you have to know what we call it open pruning, and that's when you have to realize that you have to keep it away from the wire, because if you prune it too close to the wire, then you'll have trouble, you know, doing the pruning for the other seasons and things like that. You'll always be hitting the wire with your pruners and stuff like that. So you gotta be very conscious in when you do that type of pruning. For now, this year, we're just gonna see the growth come up. We'll put it on between the wires on the way on the top, and we'll let it be. And then by next year, it's gonna be looking like this, you know, with the bark and everything. So we'll